Hello, so this might only be a short stream tonight because obviously I've had quite a busy day seeing Weapon Collector and everything and doing a stream with him and filming a load of videos with him. But I thought I'd do a stream, at least start off with wearing this mask. Alright, Deltade? Do you think I've got this strap on the wrong way around? Might help if I put that on the right way around. There we go. Cheers, Daniel. Alright, young radio enthusiast. So, yeah, this is the French ANF, which is basically... I'll get around to filming a proper video on this at some point. But this is basically the French mask the Polish MP5 is based on. Alright, cool, Mike. Yeah, it just took me a couple of extra minutes because I was deciding to put this mask on before I started this stream. And I had to repair the strap because this is the one where one of the straps broke last time I was wearing it. So I've repaired that now because I found the part for it. Sadly, it's not all that practical in terms of being futuristic. Well, Everton, if it might be really dodgy and legal, probably best not to ask it. That's all right, Mike. Well, obviously, I don't like the stuff the Soviet Union did, no. Well, because the MP5 is the Polish sort of licensed copy of this mask. One of the things that is quite uncomfortable in this, actually, saying that, I'll take this off and show you, is with this chin strap, they've made it like out of a harder plastic there than the sort of rest of the rubber face piece. Probably see if I tap that, that's actually tough. And that isn't actually all that comfortable on the chin, having like a hard plastic bit there. Now, what's the incident in the Russian smallpox lab? If you're wondering what this looks like first person. Looks like that. Oh, it's quite cool, isn't it, when masks aren't just made in black, when they actually do them in other colours, but yeah. I'm not sure if I prefer this or the MP5. This feels a bit higher quality than the MP5, but as I said, I don't think the plastic's as good. Now, you can't legally use a knife for self-defense, so no. What was in the World War I US mask? If it's a good price and it's a genuine one and you can look after it, sure. All right, Daniel? You know, I haven't heard about this Russian smallpox thing, whatever it is. So yeah, the good news is the flare camera I've ordered, if you didn't hear earlier, the flare camera I've ordered is actually coming tomorrow. So I might even put a video up tomorrow evening where I go out, film some stuff with a camera, like night vision stuff, and then just stick the video straight on. A World War II M1. If it's in good condition and everything, sure. Well, is it like slightly buzzy or ticky kind of thing? Strange, because I don't know why. Let me get the strap off and have a look. Yeah, it's just a standard voice diaphragm in there. Like plastic and metal. Well, if you put a NATO filter on a GB5 without adding all the extra O-rings and anything, it won't protect you from shit because it won't make an airtight seal because it's the NATO filter, not a GOST filter. But let's just say, assuming that you've got a NATO filter fitted to a mask it works properly on, if it's a modern NATO NBC CBRN filter, they're generally ABEC P3 filters. Probably 2-hole Zeppelin, because the thing is, if you have a 3-hole balaclava, like, you know, the one that has a hole where your mouth is or whatever, the issue is it's not going to provide any filtration, and it's not going to be as effective in the cold. Because the good thing with a balaclava that just has eye holes is if you're breathing through your nose or your mouth with that, it's going to filter some sort of dusts out of the air and give you better protection from the cold. But if you're breathing through a balaclava where there's a hole for your mouth anyway, it's not going to really warm your face up, is it? Well, I think tear gas, like CS gas, would certainly be used, because lots of countries use CS gas on civilian populations anyway. But whether you mean things like chemical weapons, save that there. I really don't know, to be honest. No, I've never been to Ireland, but I've been to quite a lot of other parts of like the UK, sort of British Isles. That wouldn't be me, Preston. But yeah, so for those of you that didn't know, because I did a load of videos of Weapon Collector today, because I drove over to visit him. I might not be on a full hour today, just because, you know, I'm quite tired this evening and everything. I could certainly imagine gas being used on civilians by, like, you know, certain countries if they were in a war with other countries. I don't want to get too political saying this, but the thing is, you know, like the whole fake invasion of Iraq thing was about Saddam with his chemical weapons of mass destruction, wasn't it? That turned out to be totally bollocks. It's the name of the stream, that said. It's the French, I've already bloody forgotten the name, like ARF or something, ANF, isn't it? Something like that, the name of this. But yeah, it's the French mask the Polish MP5's like a licensed copy of. At the moment, it is 12 minutes past 8. ARF, yeah, thank you. Maybe moisturize your face more, Daniel? I don't know, really. But if you're a teenager, you're probably going to get loads of pimples anyway or whatever, just because that's what happens when you go through puberty. Yeah, the black one's called the MP5, the Polish version. But the French one's tan. Think they should be a lot better than they are, Zeppelin, but again, I don't want to get too much into weird stuff like that. You know, just in the sense that, you know, just in the sense that it's probably not one of those things that's a good idea to talk about all that much. I don't know. You have to find me some footage of the police with masks on, and I might be able to ID them. Yeah, I've got a note rounds and that, but I won't get the mag off today, because then I have to be careful not to rip the poster when I pull the mag off. Right, Richard, well, good, it's sent out the notification. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. What I've said to the other people, Richard, and I'll just say to you, is I might not be on for a full hour tonight, just because obviously I'm quite tired of all the stuff I went and did with Mike today. Yeah, I normally stream every day. They're not always at the same time every day, but normally 8 p.m. Every day. Yeah, not always at 8 p.m. So tomorrow, if the FLIR comes at a sensible time in the day, I'll definitely go out in the evening with a FLIR camera. So it might be I either do an earlier stream tomorrow or a later stream or no stream, depending on how the times work out. But I definitely want to go out tomorrow and get a load of footage with the FLIR. What I'll probably do after this stream, Mike, I think, is just watch a film or something where I can just relax and do it. But yeah, I was quite lucky because when I was driving back from yours, what I didn't hear was on the traffic news, there was a bit of a collision or something that caused major road disruptions and like massive queues. But luckily, because of the route I chose back, I missed that anyway. But if I'd have gone back, the route the sat-nav would want to take me on, I'd have run into that and been stuck in traffic for ages. Yeah, Mike Dubing. I'll definitely visit Mike again at some point, but yeah, because I mean, Mike's not too far away from me, but at the same time, I don't want to I have to do a fairly long drive all that often. So yeah, I'll definitely make sure when I go back to visit Mike, it's when he's got the stuff ready for me. Yeah, I've got Chernobyl HBO on Blu-ray. I assume it would work, Preston. I wouldn't have the skill to do that, but I'm assuming you could probably do that. Like, use one bullet as the firing pin of another bullet. Yeah, we did the shooting competition, and we obviously, we know spoilers, but we both did it using my Daisy Red Ryder. So obviously, we could actually make it really even, because we were using the same gun, standing in the same place in the garden to use the targets in the same place. So, it's a very even shooting competition video, so it should be quite good for you to watch. Oh, I need to allow Preston's comment because it's not showing. Red Riders are only like £40, something like that. I got mine from Palpax, but I think in the US you can get them even cheaper than that. But yeah, the only thing is obviously because they fall under airgun laws in the UK, you have to get it delivered with like a courier kind of signature thing, which adds a lot of price to the thing, and they have to sort of check ID when they deliver it to you. But if you buy it with a load of other stuff, it doesn't work out too bad because you're only paying once for the like courier fee with all the other stuff included. Yeah, you'll just have to wait and see until Mike uploads it, and it will be in the queue of other people's videos. We also did some sword cutting things, attacking Zomba, the Q&A video. The Q&A video is going to be quite long, but we didn't even get through all the questions that we got asked just because Mike wrote a load down people had asked me. He had his own list. But I'd also been asked like a load on my community tab as well. But a lot of those were what's your favourite gas mask. So we didn't get a chance to do all the questions, but we did quite a lot. And we can always do another one at another time. Depends on which GOST filter it is. It's a GOST, by the way, not a ghost filter. But as I've said before, nice blue doesn't really matter. I think the grey ones look cooler, but the thing is they get UV damaged more easily, so the black ones are probably better in that regard. But it's personal preference, really. I don't think there's any advantage between the colours. Just chatting about random stuff, agnostic libertarian. You haven't missed anything too exciting. Yeah, I've bought from Varus Stelker before, however it's called. I bought some East German gear off of them before. But I bought from them back when you had to kind of buy a lot to make the postage work out well. And they do much cheaper shipping now, which is good. But when I bought from them years ago, it was like £15 plus postage. Now I think they do like a £5 postage or something. Yeah, the GOST filter. It's a GOST. Sadly, Preston, it's just too expensive. When I've looked up a PO box, it's like somewhere between £100 and £200 a year. So unless you're getting sent more stuff than that, you'd be losing money from it. And also with UK laws, if you give your PO box out and somebody sends you something illegal, you can still get in trouble for it. So that's why I wouldn't really want one, because one, there's a big cost with it, and two, if somebody sends you something illegal, they can still blame you and saying you ordered it, kind of thing. New Ghost filters, as in modern Russian and Chinese filters, are totally fine. Yeah, it's just like the old Cold War era ones you don't want to use. So what I do is, obviously, some people I've spoken with for ages online, they can get my address just that way if they want to send me stuff. Because if I've been chatting to them for so long online, I sort of think they're trustworthy. Like, obviously, before I met Mike, he sent me stuff and stuff like that, so he's known my address for a while. So people like Richard have known my address and some other people. But, you know, I'd only give that out very carefully. But yeah, the only reason I don't have a PO box is if you're a massive channel, PO boxes make sense. But yeah, when you're a smaller channel, because you're not just going to receive enough through it, there's more risks than benefits to it. Best World War II gas mask. If I can count the American M9 as a World War II gas mask, because it was late. I'm not sure if they actually designed the M9 by the end of the war, or if that was slightly later. If the US M9 counts as World War II, that. If not, British light anti-gas respirator Mark II is pretty damn good for a World War II mask. But I'd say Finnish M39. The Finnish M39 is very good for a World War II mask. Right, Finnish M39 then, that's my answer. Yeah, the M9 had used a lot of World War II elements, didn't it? I think what the US did with the M9 was basically they looked at most of their good World War II masks and then just picked the best bits from it, and that's what the M9 basically was. Yeah, I've already answered your thing there, gas mask guy. I said, all right, the M39 then, Finnish M39 if M9 doesn't count. So you don't need to keep saying not World War II over and over. We get the point. Right, potato farmer, you might get a warning for that, because look, there's a katana there, there's a sword there, there's a saber up there, there's a rapier you can see in the background there. Or are they holograms? You tell me. It's like the people go, do you have any deactivated guns? Do you have any bows? All right, fair enough, Gasmos guy, but yeah. Yeah, it's just I thought you were just repeating the M9's not World War II after I said okay. But yeah, I would show you the Finnish M39, but I haven't got it in this room. But that's the one where you can still put 40mm NATO filters on it, and mine still works despite it being like an 80-year-old mask at this point, or more like, I suppose, yeah, 1940 is 60 years, isn't it? And then we're pretty much 20 years in, so yeah, 80-year-old mask. Right, Vladimir? Shackleton. Right, now Vladimir's coming, it's reminded me to shield the merchandise and everything, because he often reminds me to do it. So if you like the merchandise, you can get mugs, t-shirts, hoodies and all that. They're very comfortable and everything, and I'm not lying, they are genuinely comfortable, good stuff. There's a Teespring link below. If you want to support me, you can super chat there, or you can support me on Patreon below. All of that stuff goes towards stuff on this thing. And for those of you that didn't hear, my latest purchase for the channel, which is a very expensive thing, is a FLIR camera, forward-looking infrared. So I can do proper FLIR night vision things. And I think there was a channel, I don't know if he still watches, called Dr. Terminator Show, who asked me ages and ages ago, could I do a video talking about different types of night vision? And I said, yeah, but it'd be quite hard to do without the night vision thing. But I can kind of do that now, because I can show like what Gen 0 night vision looks like with my Night Fox, and then I can show what forward-looking infrared looks like thermal, with the FLIR Scout. And then I can just, you know, show pictures of military night vision goggles to show light amplification goggles. Yeah. No, also, I don't have a gun license other than air rifles and things like that, which aren't firearms. No, I don't have any functional guns. Oh, that's good, Mike. But yeah, I think it's worth opening just because we know when it was made and what type it is. But yeah, because it's an ABEC 2P3, that's really good. Just to show you something. I just need to find a bag I've got it in. Should be in here somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly how deep down in here I've got it. Ah, there it is. Hey, what, I'll just show you this one, because I've got two of these filters. So where I showed you the FM12 earlier, Mike, this is the CT12, which is my favourite gas mask. It's just the FM12 without the drinking tube, but if it's butyl, it would actually be very good gas mask going, but yeah. So yeah, that's the CT12, but that's not what I'm showing you right now. What I'm showing is sealed here. The ABEC 2P3 filters I've got. These are out of date now, but they're still pretty good. They ran out in 2018, October 2018. So I still reckon, because this is sealed properly, this would last 5-10 plus years. But yeah, because it's ABEC 2 P3 like your one is, that means these are bloody good filters for pretty much, you know, like any sort of gases you'd actually encounter. But yeah, it's the same sort of thing as your filter, just a different brand, but same protection rating, because that's what the letters stand for, they're the protection rating. Yep, farts would be organic vapor, so yes, filters, that's the A on these. Filters block the smell of farts, because that's organic vapor. Now I'm getting tempted just to wear my favourite mask. Do you mean ABEC filter, as in ABEK, or is ABEC a brand? Yeah, this is my favourite mask when everybody says, what's your favourite gas mask? The Avon CT12. That's kind of the successor of the S10, one of them anyway, because the FM12 is the direct successor of the S10, but the CT12 is very good and comfortable. Well, a CT12 face palming to what's your favourite gas mask? Smell test? If you want a smell test, I mean, I can't fart, I can't really fart on cue at the moment to test it, but if you want me just to prove it works, although this S10 filter on it's pretty old, but I think it still does work against vapors. Let's just try the filter first of all. Right, no smell coming through there. No smell coming through there. Nope. Yeah, it's working fine. Let's just do that bit. No smell coming through the exhale valve. So my CT12 fits me absolutely fine, but as you can see, it pressurizes all right. It's like for, I think, laser designation, half gravity. The mask on the thumbnail is the video title. This one. Read the title of the video, and that's the name of the mask. Yes, gas mask guy, I definitely get annoyed at people asking the same questions over and over again. But more so when I keep getting the same questions on the same stream, that's when it really starts annoying me. Which one looks stormtroopery, that one or the CT12? I think cheek filter masks, in all honesty, look the closest to stormtrooper masks. Yeah. Are those guns real? For those of you that wondered, it's very similar under here to the S10. There you go. So you can see that there's the exhale valve there. And that's where obviously the drinking tube system's been removed, because obviously on a actual FM12 there'd be a drinking system here, but it's just hard plastic on this one. If I can get that back on. I have to probably take the mask off to get that back on, I think. It's not like the mask's compromised, but yeah, it's a bit awkward trying to fit that back on without having the full ability to kind of just do this. There we go. You can hear that's clicked on properly now. If you wonder what this mask looks like on the inside, there you go. And you can obviously have dual filters if you wanted to on this one. That doesn't fog up on you. That's good, because you've got facial hair as well, Mike. But yeah, very good. I thought that would be a good one for you, because it's like a one-size-fits-all mask, so you don't have to worry about, you know, seeing if it fits you all right. Right, well, what I'll do is I'll explain the difference between the FM12 and the S10 first. So, the FM12 compared to the S10 has a smaller face piece, smaller eyepieces, but they're polycarbonate, and sit closer to the eyes. So you've got stronger eyepieces, and although they're smaller, they give an equal or better field of view because they sit closer to your eyes. It's got a smaller voice diaphragm trumpet type thing, but otherwise it's very similar to the S10. Also a mesh fabric harness, unlike the S10, which has the rubber harness. Then obviously the main difference between the CT12 and the FM12 is the CT12 doesn't have a drinking tube system. It's designed to be more lightweight. The FM12s and CT12s kind of look a bit longer than the S10, but I assume it's just because they've got kind of a smaller face piece. Because Bart's done a very good picture of an S10 on here, you might be able to see how the S10 on the merch picture looks a bit fatter than the these ones. As in, like, the nose on the S10's a bit wider, and in general the masks with the S10 look wider. Also, there's the NBC ridge all around the side of an S10, where the FM12s and CT12s don't have that. Well, if it's technically an S10 where the drinking tube's been removed, it's still an S10. But if it's one of the variants of S10, like the N10 that doesn't have the drinking tube, then it's not an S10, it's an N10. That's because Czechoslovakia, or the Czech Republic, ripped off the S10 to make the OM90. So yeah, basically that's the Czech rip-off of this mask. But if you look up the FMJ08, there's also a Chinese rip-off of the S10 called the FMJ08, because, you know, back when the S10 was made, it was one of the best gas masks in the world, so loads and loads of companies did rip-offs of it. I think if you did it enough in a sunny country, you would get tan lines with a gas mask, yeah, but normal people wouldn't if they were just wearing it now and again. Oh, that's cool. So you've got some, what is it, strontium 90 as a Czech sauce in Alexander. Yeah, don't eat the strontium 90, whatever you do, as a Czech sauce. But yeah, strontium 90 they used as the Czech sauce in those. A bug-out bag of sorts, agnostic libertarian, but as said, because I'm chronically ill, I don't bother too much with one. No, if I had one, Daniel, I'd do a comparison video, just like if I had a Chinese FMJ08, I'd do a side-by-side comparison, but, strontium, it's like calcium, only cancerous. But, Yeah, as I said, there's quite a lot of masks I'd like to get. It's just a lot of them are the ones where, because I can't spot them for reasonable prices, I've just not bothered. Most expensive gas mask? As in, like, most valuable today in terms of protective qualities or whatever, I really don't know. This is my favourite one. Don't really know what my most expensive one would be off the top of my head, unless you mean what did I pay for it, then that would be the XM28. How many counts per minute or whatever do you get from the strontium 90? Because mine doesn't have that check source, so I can't see what it would do, but I imagine it's pretty damn hot. Yeah, the problem is that some masks obviously can sell for a lot of money, but it doesn't mean they're really worth that. So it's one of those very hard questions to answer, really, being with things like that. About £70, I think, when I got it, and that's when they first went on the surplus market. So 150 millirontgen an hour. So that's pretty hot, isn't it? But it's not one rontgen hot. I don't have any of those masks personally, Vladimir. I don't have any Wilbur One or horse masks or anything. But yeah, they'd be pretty valuable if I had them. Well, if your Geiger says 3.6, then you know it's fine, don't you? I mean, if this happened with it, you'd know you'd be okay. Hang on a second, because this is all in the way of me doing this. Oh, I've got the grenades on there. Yeah, if you put that on the strontium and it did that, I'd be a bit worried. I don't know what that helmet is. Let me look it up, but only if I can find one for a reasonable price. And it's not letting me Google search it. Hang on. Oh, is that like a rock climbing helmet? Oh, you mean the STSH-81 helmet? Is that like a jump helmet kind of thing? Oh, they're the titanium ones. Unfortunately, no, because there's too many fake titanium helmets on the market at the moment, and they're very expensive. Oh, that's amazing, Alexander, because that is as high as that one will go, and that's 2,000 counts per second. But bear in mind, that's like a different measuring system that one uses, because that's counts per second up to 2K counts per second, rather than it being counts per minute. Now, as I already said, I have no World War One gas mask, so I can't have a German World War One gas mask, can I, if I have no World War One gas masks? eBay. That's a mini monitor, so it's a British-made one. And I bought it second-hand with Patreon, like, donations and things for £145. A big thank you to everybody that donates and everything. But the reason that one costs quite a lot is because it has the Alpha probe on it, which is why the Americanium there, or Americinium, however it's pronounced, made it go crazy. Because if you just put, like, a other type of Geiger counter against that sort of check source, it's not all that hot. But that's a DP66 Polish one. Like the person was all about, they've got. But mine's a bit weird, that Polish one. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's not like it's busted, because sometimes it'll work fine, and then other times you'll turn it on and it just won't take a reading from anything. Yeah, isn't it with count per minute on the DP66? It only shows you like a count per minute up to a certain thing. But yeah, I'm not sure how it reads. That's why I like with a lot of Geigers now that you can get just things like the if I can find them easily in my drawer. Where's he gone? I was going to get my SOX Geiger counter out, but I can't spot it in a handy place at the moment. Well, I've got some Benadryl left. I didn't realise I had any of that left. That's good. That's just hay fever tablets, but I thought I'd used all of them, but apparently not. Is my SOX in this drawer? Has it just fallen down a bit? No, I really can't remember what drawer I put my SOX in then. Let's check this bottom drawer one more time. It's doing that thing where it doesn't want to open now. Actually, saying that, I think I can feel the box in this drawer, and I think that's why it's not opening. So let me just try something. Yeah, there it is. What had happened is the box for this had like slipped back a bit in the drawer, and then it had got wedged in the drawer opening bit. That's why I couldn't see it. Did I take the patches out of this? Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I'm afraid I don't really know of the DP 66. But anyway, yeah, the SOX one. This is what I was just going to show you, is that if I put this now, because this just does beta and gamma against that same check source, you'll hear that the ticks are nowhere near as high. But when people say they want to get a Geiger counter, for most people get something like this, because getting a combined Geiger and dosimeter is a lot more practical than getting like one of those big units. They're only cool for the retro style of them, but something like this is a lot more practical. Right. Tell you what, let's go to searching mode, because that will show us on that little chart there. It will spike like little red spikes, and it will edit the size of the graph depending on the radiation. And you've always got background radiation literally everywhere. But yeah, just to show you. Here that's ticking, but not very fast in the background rate. And if I show you that, you can see that obviously, yes, that Americanium gives off a bit of gamma that this will pick up. But in terms of, you know, the readout compared to what you get from the alpha probe, it's nothing. Yeah, it's a bit strange to me how some of those things work, Alexander, in those. But yeah, mine's weird. It's like sometimes you'll turn it on, you can put it against the source and you get fairly accurate readings. Other times you turn it on, it won't work. And you just keep turning it off and on, then it starts working. Yeah, it won't let you do links in chat, I'm afraid, Alexander, because it's not even like I can see them and approve them. It's like YouTube will just delete a link if you put it there. Yeah, same with me. All the surplus stores in my area are gone now. Yeah, we could just get some old dinner plate material. Oh, look, a lovely piece of red plate. Yes, please, Peach. That'd be interesting. Although now I've bought the flare, I'm going to have to save my money for a while again. This is Fiesta ware. which is when an American company had the brilliant idea of getting dinnerware, like, you know, plates and cups and things like that, and painting them with uranium to make them look pretty. So, you know, uranium is in the same stuff that you make nuclear bombs out of and that you have in a nuclear reactor. Well, paint uranium on a plate. What could possibly go wrong? I've done it in other videos, Alexander. You can look them up, but I'm not going to mess about with that on a stream just because it so often won't work. But I mean, if you want to see what it does against that one, I can show you on this one. I won't bother taking the Alpha probe cover off again, but if you just want to see the Fiesta where giving off its beta and gamma reading. How far is the range on this? It's actually quite a surprising range on this Fiesta ware, to be honest. That I can put it here and you can still see the needle moving. There's barely any alpha on the Fiesta ware when I've checked it, because when I've done the Fiesta ware with that probe on and off, the reading is barely higher off, so it's nearly your beta, I think. I got my DP66M off of eBay years ago. You and your mullets, Iron Man. No, I've not. Because back then, agnostic libertarian, there was no shit about, you know, radiation. Do you know the American FDA had problems with people saying there was more radiation in products than there actually was, not the safety implications of that? That's a shame. What sort of things are they doing in the surplus stores in Prague and just selling stuff for way more than it's actually worth? All right, cheers, Peach. I'll bookmark this site. But yeah, that's quite a good price, isn't it? But yeah, like I said, because I've ordered that Flair now, I can't really afford to be buying other stuff for a while. Do they do the cold steel throwing knives on here? Because your mother asked me if I could get one of those. Not as in your mother, Peach, but a guy who's called your mother who comes on the stream and donates on my Patreon. Because he was asking me if I could get the weird kind of throwing spike thing they do, and I said if a UK place stocks it, then I'll get one. But I'd never actually seen them on any of the UK cold steel things. Oh, they do the throwing spike. What do I type in on the site to find it? I can't remember the name of it. If I just search cold steel, let's see. And I'll search low to high price because I think it wasn't all that expensive. That's not bad. The shovel is £10.95 on there, unless that's just a sheath for it. Oh yeah, the actual shovel is £29.95. I can't see that little throwing spike thing on there. No, I'm at the things at like 70 odd quid now, so it can't be on there. Yeah, that's what I'm on about, the torpedo. Alright, cheers, Pete. If you find one, link me, but obviously I have to wait till I've got a bit more money again to get one. There is for Patreon supporters, Alexander, so people who super chat and support me on Patreon, they can post links in there, but otherwise, I'm afraid there's no way you can really do it on here. What you could do is post a comment with a link on a regular video, not a stream, and then it sometimes lets me approve those, but I can't ever see them in streams. Oh, so yeah, World War II replicas sold for massively inflated prices and that they're fake. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wouldn't buy those Soviet or Russian titanium helmets unless you knew it was genuine, because there's so many people that sell those for like £300 and they're just like a piece of steel, not a titanium helmet. I would not know of those helmets, which is why I've never bought one. There are people who can probably tell you based on the weight and like how magnetic it is and things like that. But the problem is, anytime there's like a piece of surplus or like replica, like not necessarily surplus, but you know, any kind of collectible kind of thing like that, Militaria. If there's one thing that's rare and worth quite a lot, people always kind of do knockoff kind of bootlegs of it and try and make a load of money. It's why you never get bootleg GP5s, for example. I mean, unless you count some of the Chinese masks as bootleg GP5s, because I guess you could class them as that. But what I mean is, you'd never get bootleg GP5s in the sense that, you know, some company makes knockoff GP5s that don't work and sells them pretending they're real GP5s. Because they're such a common mask, you could not undercut them and make a price. But if there's some really expensive piece of like stuff, and I bet this happens a lot with Nazi stuff from World War II, loads and loads and loads of you know, dodgy companies make basically fake you know, like replicas of the real thing and then try and charge you real money for it. Yeah, exactly. You never want to pay that for a fake. If you know it's a fake and it's cheap, it doesn't really matter, but it's when they pretend they're the real things, that's the thing. It might do. I don't actually know, old Piero, if that's how I say your name. If it's an airtight tube, then it would work as a hose. You just have to probably like duct tape or something it to the mask and the filter. Right, cheers, Alexander. As long as it's a new comment, I'll see if I can get on it after the stream. All right, Ultra. I won't be on much longer. I'll probably go to an hour now, but as I was at Mike's earlier and everything, I'm quite tired now. So, as you can see there, it's 8:52. So, somebody's asking me in French something about a gas mask. Are you on about this French one that I had in the picture of the video? Otherwise, I don't know what you're saying, I'm afraid. Salute, I guess that's hello, is it? Masques a gaz, is that mask, gas mask? Something about collection? But yeah, I've got this French one. I've got a French M51, but that's not rare at all. That's the mass-produced one from the Cold War. I've got some Belgian ones as well, like that one, like the L708 or whatever it's called, but I don't actually have all that many French masks. You don't see them for sale over here that often. Yeah, I collect them. That's what I do with them. I don't do anything kinky with them or all that interesting. I just collect them and do videos of them. Yeah, basically, it's a licensed copy, Ultra. They're a bit different. When I do the video on this one, I'll get them side by side and show the differences.
There's some ways this is better, and there's other ways the MP5 is better. The MP5 is more comfortable rubber than this, because the problem with this, it's made out of, in places, don't know if you can see that, it's actually quite solid rubber, and I don't think this is where it's aged. I think they've molded some of this to be quite, like rigid rubber, which could be good, but because like some of it is flexible rubber still, like around the face here where it makes sense, but then other bits like where the chin sits, that's pretty tough rubber. So yeah, it's either that the rubber turns into plastic with this overage, but I think it's more likely that this is just a weird mix of a rubber that they make stiffer in some places and looser in others, and that doesn't make it all that comfortable. So the MP5 is more comfortable. From what I've heard, these French ones don't steam up, or the lens doesn't go off color as much as the MP5 does. Exactly the same drinking tube system there, so no difference there. Exactly the same exhale valve and voice diaphragm as far as I can tell. But yeah, in terms of the strap quality, although the plastic on this one is better than the MP5 for these bits, the actual straps aren't as good. So it's got pros and cons compared to the MP5. It could be, Vladimir. The thing is, it's hard to see where a seam line is, because you'd imagine that you'd see a bit of a seam line where they've done that, but because like say with this bit, I don't want to break anything, but if I do that, you can see it's quite even on both sides where like it goes from being flexible rubber to like the rigid plastic stuff. But like, see, this bit here is definitely more of a supple rubber. This is definitely like more like a plastic bit. But yeah, most of this mask is this kind of more rigid structure, which isn't all that comfortable on your face because it's, like something hard pushing into your face. It doesn't mold to your face. Like the stuff that explodes when it's shot, Iron Man, probably not, because if you have an exploding thing on a human body, it'll probably squib you. Oh, there he goes on the floor. He's not broken though. Saying that, I think the Tissot system's better in this than the MP5, because if you look at the Tissot system, there is one for each side, where I have a weird feeling the MP5 only has a Tissot on one side. I'll have to check that when I have a look. But all right, Arthur. There you go. If you mean how to get an American Mickey Mouse mask, you basically can't, because it's the rarest mask in the world. If you mean how to get a British Mickey Mouse mask, go on eBay and buy one. Yeah, I like French fries and proper chips, Iron Man. I like all those sort of goody potato fried things. Some do, some don't. It depends on the type of rubber, the type of straps, the bags they're stored in. There's loads of factors that can affect how they smell. I already have before, Al Pipero, so I'm not going to keep doing it again just because you haven't searched for the video. Yeah, I like scones. I call them scones, not scones. But in terms of scones, I like cheesy scones, but my favourite are just, the generic kind of currants and sort of, like more sweet scone kind of things. Put some margarine or butter on there and some jam or some honey. Lovely. As in depleted uranium core, Daniel. I mean, if it works in tank shells, it might work in regular ammunition. But really, you can just get a higher caliber gun, can't you? Or repeatedly shoot somebody. That's probably the easier way of doing it. Now, I've got some grenades back there, as you might be able to see, but artillery shells would take up a bit too much room. I know quite a few people have done things before where they buy like a big artillery shell and they use it like an umbrella stand or something like that. So it's quite a big practical use for an artillery shell, but I don't really have any use for one. In all honesty, I don't know if I had much traditional Czech food when I was in the Czech Republic, because most of the things when you go to lots of these countries now, especially in somewhere like Prague, is just stuff like McDonald's, generic, like meat and sort of vegetable dinners, or I think we had Chinese takeaway a couple of nights we were in Prague. So that gives you some idea of, you know, I think if you went somewhere more rural in the Czech Republic, you'd probably get more traditional food. But it's like if you go to London, it's not really traditional British cuisine, is it? If you go to London, it's probably like curries and takeaways and all stuff like that. Weirdest food I've ever tried? I really don't know off the top of my head. I've not tried any of those like disgusting rotted fish kind of things that like the Swedes like, whatever it is. I've never tried sushi and I really don't want to. I don't like the idea personally of eating raw meat or raw fish because, you know, you cook it for a reason to not get ill. I mean, I like steaks rare though, to the point they're basically just a bloody mess, but and sort of jelly-y. But no, I mean, for the most part, I just like normal food. I mean, if you want to know a weird fact about food, for me, I prefer the taste of margarine to butter, which apparently nearly nobody does. But personally, I prefer margarine to butter. Like if somebody said you have the choice between like high quality butter or some Bertolli or something on some bread or whatever, I'd always take the margarine. Crispy pancakes are nice. You're as late as in I'm going off in about 5 minutes, Chris. What's my favourite alcoholic beverage? To be honest, probably like liqueur kind of things. As much as there's some beers and like proper beers and ales I like quite a lot. In general, I kind of like things like 20 to 30%, you know, like things where you can drink them neat quite easily, but they've got more of a taste to them. Like, you know, like some of the fruit flavored brandies, some of the sour kind of things. All right, say the riddle as long as it's not racist or something stupid, Ultra. Yeah, that's the thing. Sturming. There's a video, isn't there, where Ashens opens a tin of it and he nearly vomits because of the smell. No, unfortunately, Mike, I think they do it on purpose. Oh, I'm glad it always cheers you up, Bohemian. Oh, thank you, Peach. I'll show all on a page because I don't want to show just some. Yeah, mini torpedo, $22.99. Right, I'll bookmark that mini torpedo, Peach, and then what I'll do, or video base, whatever you want to be called, is when I get some more money at some point, because obviously I've bought the Fleer now, and I'm paying off my last car repayment at the end of the month as well, I will start buying shit like that again. What do pancakes and baseball have in common? Right, let me have a think. But bear in mind I'm English, so I don't know fuck all about baseball. I don't know. The thing that Peach just linked, Ultra. I don't know because I don't know much about baseball because I'm not American. They both rely on the batter. That's more of a joke than the riddle, isn't it? It's all right, but yeah, I kind of get that, even though I don't know much about baseball. No, Iron Man, I don't think I would. You never stop with these questions, do you? Yeah, but it's normally Scotch over here, agnostic libertarian, as in You know, in Scotland, which is part of Britain until they keep throwing their independence things and they actually get one. That's where Scotch comes from, Scotland. It can't be called Scotch unless it comes from Scotland, and Scotch is obviously considered to be the world's best whiskey, or like one of the world's most premium whiskies, which is why Scotch can sell for a stupid amount of money abroad. So yeah, people over here would definitely drink Scotch. Obviously, I don't mind cheaper whiskies as well, but the thing is, whiskey is one of those things, though, I find, especially with like Scotch kind of blends, or like single malts, I can never find cheap scotches that taste okay. It seems to be one of those things where you genuinely need expensive scotch for it to taste all right. All right, see you, Richard, if you're off. I've not really tried many Irish whiskies, but it's been all right. But I think most whiskies probably from around this part of the world are pretty good. But, you know, it's kind of like how Russians and Eastern Europeans are famous for vodka. In Britain, it's sort of the British Isles, it's like whiskey's the kind of thing. When somebody says whiskey and cigars, I always think of Dishonored. When, you know, like the NPC guards go, shall we gather for whiskey and cigars tonight? When they're just wandering around. Jägermeister, yeah, we used to have those a lot as Jaeger bombs when we were out clubbing, where they, you know, float a shot of Jägermeister and like some sort of energy drink, don't they? I can't remember how they do it now, but it's like one bit of Jägermeister with something else, isn't it? Right. To be honest, I don't think you're missing out on loads not drinking. It's one of those things where for some people it's just not a good thing. Other people quite enjoy it, and it's always something you have to keep a, you know, check on how much you do it if you do drink. Personally, I like the spelling without the E in it because it whiskey. I suppose if you said whiskey, sounds more Scottish, doesn't it? But I prefer whiskey without the E, to be honest. It makes more sense to me as one thing, but again, there's no right answer to that, is there? Because if you want to call something in your language, whatever you want to call it, you're not really wrong, are you? Oh, cheers, Mimulus wannabe, if that's how I say your name. If you've got a Discord ID, don't forget to post it in the chat, because I'm going off in a minute, but if you post your Discord ID, I can add you to the Discord server for donators. Yeah, the problem I have, Peach, is sometimes I can drink and actually have a good time. Other times I can drink and really regret it when I just feel like shit. And I don't mean from like getting drunk. I just mean where you feel more miserable because you've drunk. Ah, that's good, but I suppose it's not good if you're very thirsty. But yeah, I do like Pilsners and that you can get in the Czech Republic. I've got the CM4 and I quite like it, but I'd really like that CM4 with the panoramic sort of lens on it, but I don't have that one. But it's better than the German M65, but it's not as good as the Israeli M15 as far as M65 clones go. Don't give them attention, Kyle. No, I don't think I've tried that one, Celtic. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Snow Peach. I quite like it when it snows because a lot of the roads are quiet near me. There's less people out and about, so if you want to go for a walk, you can wear all your cold weather gear and you don't bump into that many people. All right, see, that's the first comment I've seen from you, Mark44. So you said I'm off, but I haven't even seen you say hello unless YouTube just didn't show me the comment. Yeah, that is one way of doing it pretty fast, Iron Man. Especially if you end up losing half of it in a divorce. Then it goes really quickly. There's like, you know how there's the thing about Germans not having a very good sense of humor. There is a German joke I really like, which is marriage is like a hand grenade. When the ring comes off, bang, your house is gone. It's something like that. It might be funnier if you say it in a different way, but that was actually a German joke I thought was funny. Because most German jokes are like, oh, somebody did not follow the instructions. Isn't this funny? Yeah, a German joke, exactly. Right, anyway, I'll be off in a minute. Do I like smiley face or not smiley face? I don't know, because I don't know what those smiley faces mean. The one time I did a German accent, I think you'll find I have done a German accent many times, Mimulus. Yeah, I'll be off in a minute anyway, but heat or cold, I definitely prefer the cold, because when I'm cold I can put on more layers. When I'm hot, there's nothing I can do. Finnish accent? Do the Finnish talk a bit like this? That's probably a really bad Finnish accent. I don't actually know, because when I went to Finland, I don't even know you'd replicate that accent that Finns talk with when they speak English. Because, you know, there's some languages when people speak English when they've got like a really kind of defined accent, but I don't kind of think the Finns did. Maybe tomorrow, but as I said earlier, Celtic, it depends. If my flare comes at a good time tomorrow, I might actually just go out for a couple of hours in the evening and film a load of stuff with a flare, and then come back and do a video of it. Scottish accent, sick dog. That's not a very good Scottish accent, is it? But that's me attempting to do a Scottish accent. When you say a Soviet accent, do you mean a Russian accent? Hello, comrade. Made in the Fenderland. I'm not going to keep doing accents now. We'll have to do an accent stream, I guess, at some point. That's probably just because I watch a lot of things like Count Dankula's videos, so I can probably imitate him. I like Brian Cox, the Scottish actor. Not Brian Cox, the weird astronomer bloke, but, you know, Brian Cox, the Scottish actor that's been in a lot of things, who's quite old now. And he's from Dundee, isn't he? Brian Cox. But when he's in Bob's Servant Independent, it's Broughty Ferry, or whatever it's called. But that's actually a real place, because I looked it up. It's near Dundee, but it's... Right, anyway, I'm off. My stomach hurts a bit now anyway, and I've gone longer on this stream than I said I would. But good evening, everybody. And don't forget, Mimulus, if you have a Discord, let me know in a comment at some point on a video what your ID is so I can add you, seeing as you've donated. But thanks for the donation. Right, see you all then. Bye.